All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. I call to order tonight's meeting of the Temecula Traffic Safety Commission at 6 o'clock, and we will go ahead and begin with the flag salute led by Commissioner Richardson.
Yes, please rise and join me facing the flag. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Secretary, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes. Sullivan absent. Ackerman?
Here.
Carter?
Here.
Maddox?
Here?
Richardson?
Here.
Thank you.
All right, and then for the record, I'm assuming we have no public comment tonight?
No public comments.
Very good. We will move on to our consent calendar, where all items will be enacted with one roll call vote. We have just one item tonight. Number 1, approve action minutes of June 27, 2024. If anyone would like to make a motion.
Move it.
All right, all second.
Sullivan absent. Ackerman?
Aye.
Carter?
Was I here? Was I? Do I need to
Even if you
abstain?
weren't,
Can
if
you-
you
I read
reviewed.
them, yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Aye.
Maddox?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Very good. Then we're on to commission business. And we will move ahead to item number 2, Highway Safety Improvement Program, or HSIP, Cycle 12 Grant. And we'll go ahead and hear the staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. This presentation is to provide an update on the HSIP Cycle 12 grant projects. A little background on the HSIP Cycle 12. The Highway Safety Improvement Program funds local safety projects using federally funded grant, and it seeks to give local agencies money for safety improvement projects. It's a competitive grant process, and for this cycle, grants are due on September 9th. And we anticipate award, or if we do win, around March 2025, so we'll know probably around that time frame. We have submitted on many other cycles in the past, and we feel pretty confident on this one as well. We've submitted 2 projects, and that's what we'll be reviewing tonight. The first project we submitted is a fiber extension project. This project is essentially going to install 9 miles of fiber and upgrade traffic signal communication equipment on our corridors where we have conduit but no fiber. So the corridors are included are Margarita Road, Date Street, Meadows Parkway, Nicholas Road, and Deer Hollow Way. This project's going to cost around $1.1 million, and there's a 50% city match. If we win this project and do all these improvements, this will essentially complete our fiber for the most part in the city to all our traffic signals. So really excited if we can win this one and close that loop. The second project is the pedestrian crossing enhancements. We did pedestrian crossing enhancements similar in Cycle 11, and we won it. This one is going to upgrade various pedestrian ramps near school sites for ADA compliance. Some of the school sites are going to be near James Day Middle School, Crown Hill Elementary School, Abbey Ranke, Earl Stanley, and Great Oak High School. It's a set-aside grant, so as long as there's money in the set-aside grants, we should automatically win this one. And we're going for the max, which is $350,000, and that's about with a 10% city match. I believe it's going to be around 30 pedestrian ramps we're aiming to complete with it. And with that, staff's recommendation is for the commission to receive and file this report. If there are any questions, I am here.
Very good. So for questions, I'll start down there. Yeah.
I got a question on each one, and
Sure.
just refresh my memory what the fiber communications does for us.
Sure. So the fiber communications, we can connect our signals with it, and then we can remotely manage our traffic from our desk. We can be proactive with changes we make as opposed to reactionary. So it saves us time. Our maintenance staff, we can figure out what the problem is before they even go out there, and it just saves time overall. And we can, as part of that project, we do signal timing. So we're going to look to coordinate corridors as well. We won't coordinate every corridor. We'll see which ones are worthy of doing it,
Right.
but that's what the fiber can allow us to do.
And just on the pedestrian crossing enhancements, is it true that if you're like on Butterfield Stage, they just repaved that, so prior to repaving it, they did those by the Vail Ranch Middle School, those ramps.
They upgraded the ramps.
So whenever they're doing anything in the street, they'll automatically do those? So these are different than those then?
Yeah, we'll be upgrading different ones that haven't already been done.
Right.
And on our last grant, because the grant cycle takes so long, sometimes we call out ramps that are, hey, we want to do it as part of the grant, but then a CIP project comes in and has already done it. We just remove it, we find another ramp, so we won't be removing any new ramps.
All right, thanks. That's all.
Just a couple questions, I guess the same question for both, the pulling the fiber through the conduit that's there and doing the ADA ramps. Is this work that our Public Works Department does, or are we still outsourcing this work?
So a contractor will have to do the work. Design-wise, we will do the ramps in-house. For the fiber job, we will go out to an RFP for a consultant to design it since it's so much work. But generally, we got to outsource all the construction. You have to do that as part of the grant.
So does Public Works ever look at taking some of those things that I'll not knowing anything, call the easier things, and saying, hey, maybe in the future we could actually do some of this work and create jobs here in our city?
I mean, since I've been here, we've been doing that for a lot of the traffic stuff.
Yeah.
For the Cycle 11, 3 out of the 4, we just designed in-house since we have the capability to do that, and saves the city money on design cost. But for the bigger ones, we just don't have the time, and we have to go out to consultants.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's what you did with the Pachaga corridor, right? That one was done more in-house?
That was all
Yeah.
done in-house as well, the design on that, and we're still finalizing the coordination timing on that. We haven't implemented, but that's all done in-house.
Excellent.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions on both of them, and actually both related to the dollar amount and the budget side of it. Particularly the fiber one, that 1.1 million, that's a large price tag, and especially with the 50% city match. Is that money that's already been budgeted for this project?
So we do have a large CIP project where we have fiber money. It's supposed to be used for fiber money, and we got a good amount. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like 700,000 or 800,000, something like that, if not $1 million. So we're leveraging what we can get covered to still utilize those funds and still have money left over. So I know it's a big price tag. 50% match is really high for a HSIP, but that's what for that one, that's what they set it at.
Okay, and then for the other one, the ADA compliance, $350,000 to do it at those, I think it was 5 or 6 schools there. Is that, you said we're shooting for the most amount we can get for the grant, which I think is a great strategy. If we finish those projects and come in under it, is there other purposes we can find for the leftover money? Will there be leftover money?
No, definitely not on these grants where we're utilizing all of it. A lot of times we don't have enough money.
Okay.
But we always seek to just maximize as much as we can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point about the 50% match. I was curious about that too, and what I read on that was that's the one countermeasure that's set at 50%, because it's the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and that's the one measure that is just as much about safety as it is like efficiency. So it's, I guess, why they set that one at 50. But I think it is a good choice for a project, certainly supported by the local road safety plan. It's the number one suggestion I hear in conversation with neighbors, and signal timing coordination was also identified as a community priority in the quality of life master plan surveys. So really a good choice. And then likewise with the pedestrian crossing enhancements, I was looking into that one and saw that we're only allowed to apply for one set-aside project each cycle. Is that right?
Of the same set aside. Like we were looking at doing some bike improvements as well. We just couldn't come up with a good one.
Yeah.
We've racked our brain. We've done so many of these with HSIPs. It's getting harder and harder to think of projects that are actually worthy.
Yeah.
But that's why we only came up with 2 this time. Last time we had 4. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And we want to put our most competitive projects forward too, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's getting more competitive in general with all the other agencies going for it. So,
Mhm.
you know, some of these projects, we want more money, but we actually have to scale it down so we make it competitive.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good choice. You know, when the bipartisan infrastructure law was passed earlier and effectively extended the Highway Safety Improvement Program, it added some new objectives and rules that, you know, increased an emphasis on protecting the most vulnerable road users. You'll hear the Federal Highway Administration talk about that a lot these days. And I'd say that ADA supportive measures right next to schools definitely hits that mark. So it's a happy circumstance, I think, that there's perfect alignment between what's important to the city, what's important to the Federal Highway Administration right now, and what's important to me. So glad to see it. Any other comments on this item? No? Then we will go ahead and consider that received and filed. And we will move ahead to business item number 3, Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A grant. And we'll go ahead and hear the staff report, please.
You made an excellent segue talking about the FHWA. Ties right into this presentation on the Safe Streets and Roads for All, the SS4A grant.
Mhm.
There we go. So a little background on SS4A. This was a bipartisan infrastructure law bill which established this SS4A with $5 billion in appropriated funds over 5 years. Started in 2022 and it's going to 2026. There's still a lot of money there. I have a feeling it may be extended, but we will wait and see on that. It's a competitive grant process administered through the FHWA. And what the grant program does, it funds regional, local, and tribal safety initiatives to reduce roadway deaths and serious injuries, exactly like the HSIP. So different type of grants we have to fill out on this one, but we went ahead and submitted a application, and we submitted one application on May 6th with actually 2 projects combined into one. Project 1 was a planning project for a comprehensive safety action plan. That is, I'll get into that more in the next slides. Project 2, we also submitted something they called a demonstration project for Butterfield Stage Road Protected Bikeway. I'll describe that one a little bit. Well, the city was selected for a partial award. They only selected us for the first project, and we learned that on September 9th. They didn't award us for the demonstration project, which that demonstration project was a protected bikeway on Butterfield Stage Road, basically the whole length of Butterfield Stage Road. We are looking to do kind of like a raised median or bollards or something like that. Really big, expensive project. We were shooting for $6 million. I'm not giving up hope on that one. We actually are setting up a meeting to find out. We know why they didn't give it to us, but we think they're wrong. So we are going to fight them on that a little bit. So hopefully we do that. But on to the project that we did win. It's the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. Essentially what this is going to be an update to our local roadway safety plan to make it federally compliant. The LRSP is statewide compliant, but there's a little bit more boxes you need to tick with federal mandates. So it's going to be more robust study. It's going to include studying accidents, systemic and specific safety needs, more public engagement. We're going to identify projects. We're going to provide strategies and prioritization and develop performance measures on actual implementation of projects and how it actually improves safety. It's very, very similar to our LRSP. It's going to be required that we have a comprehensive safety action plan anyways on future federal grants. So we figured, let's just go and get this anyways. We need to do it. Our LRSP is pretty much already outdated because we've completed the projects in there. There are old accidents in there now, so hey, we'll take the money to go ahead and update it. So it's about $120,000 in federal funds with about a $30,000 city match. And with that, staff's recommendation is for the commission to receive and file this presentation on the SSA 4A grant.
Excellent. Any questions on that end? Yeah.
Yeah, just a real quick one, and it actually doesn't have really anything to do with this. I just kind of want to applaud you guys that I always get these presentations about grants and know that it's a proactive means to improve our city with outside money. So I don't know if it's one person writing these or if you guys all work together, or if it's one person, thanks to that person. But otherwise, I just want to applaud you guys. This is a pretty, I know it's not an easy feat, so thank you guys.
Well, I would echo that for sure. I do have a question. You might have answered it in there. So the LRSP, I believe, had a 5-year refresh cycle. So when we do this new plan, that's going to reset the clock on that?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Do we know how long that's good, how long that makes us eligible for, SS4A grants?
In terms of when we would need to kind of update it again,
Right.
I don't know, but 5 years is probably a good estimate on it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to update that thing yearly with new accidents.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, yeah, I would just, again, echo Commissioner Ackerman's kudos. It's really apparent the effort that, you guys put into this, and it was really important that we continue to position Temecula as competitively as possible in these, as there are some external factors that work against us sometimes, but I think it's abundantly clear that you've really put our best foot forward here, so thank you for that. That's another receive and file, and we'll go ahead and also receive and file our division reports for tonight, which brings us to the director reports.
Okay, good evening, Commission. A few updates from Public Works. So number one, our auxiliary lane that we had a ribbon cutting for, that auxiliary lane is slated to have the K-rail removed this Friday night. So by Saturday morning, you'll see some striping, and it should be running just fine. So barring any unforeseen circumstances, you'll see that auxiliary lane going. So that's number one. Number two, some various things that are happening in Old Town here. 6th Street improvements are on schedule. So we put in sidewalk, they're putting in the street lights, making it more towards the Old Town specific plan. That's slated to be done in January. Same with the Stampede parking lot, which is now known as the Roger Epperson lot. That parking lot also scheduled for a January completion. We also have our French Valley, our biggest project going on right now. That is going really smooth right now. Hopefully the weather cooperates and that continues to move towards a spring completion when everything will be buttoned up. The flyover will be done before then. However, with any completion of a project, there's the signage and the striping and the little things that have to close it out towards the spring. But there will be a detour coming up in January. You'll get prior notice of that. Probably we'll be able to bring you something at our next meeting, the December meeting, of what the specifics of that is going to be. As far as other projects, everything is going well in the city. And I'm open for any questions on anything you've seen around. Oh, I do want to mention one thing that what's nice is we did get someone from the Los Ranchitos HOA came at our last council meeting, gave compliments to staff and to you guys for the implementation of the speed controls. We went through the speed survey, signage, and you guys were part of that as well. And so it was nice to get some compliments on how they appreciate the work that's been done for the Los Ranchitos corridor.
Excellent, appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the horse will be back up. It will be back up. It's just finishing touches on just the evaluation of how that roundabout is running. And it's good you brought that up because Nick's been working hard on the Jedediah Smith roundabout that was out for design. And so we've already engaged the HOA to have a meeting here in the conference center where we're going to invite the HOA so they can see some preliminary designs. And so we're going to set that meeting probably for first, second week of December, and we'll let you guys know about that in case you'd like to attend.
Great. All right, any questions? Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm.
I just have just one comment on kudos to the city and the contractor, whomever did the repaving of Pachanga and Rainbow Canyon. For a few days of inconvenience, I mean, it was done pretty quick and
Yeah.
You know, it was real, very well done.
Yeah, everyone's happy with the results of that particular paving. I think it was Onyx Paving that did that and did a great job.
Excellent. Thank you for the report. It seems like Public Works is getting busier every year, so we appreciate all the work.
One other, do we have an agenda item on the meeting for Thanksgiving, or should we come in with our turkey?
I think David was going to address that.
Oh, okay, never
Yes,
mind,
we
I'm
will be
sorry.
moving that. No worries. But first, any commission reports?
Not really much of a report, just last meeting, as we all know, we didn't have a quorum, so we didn't have it. Myself and Commissioner Maddox were here. We received a presentation for the TREAD program, TREADS. A very good presentation. It was really cool to see how academia and traffic kind of are working hand in hand to more so identify effectiveness of solutions and things like that. So it was a positive program. I'm hopeful to see it kind of move out of San Diego and up our way to make things safer for all of us. That's it for me.
Just one thing I noticed in my travels to Great Oak High School off Butterfield, that there is fenced off where Ralph's is putting in a gas station behind Wolf Creek. Is the city involved in looking at that at all? Because Wolf Creek is the private road with the speed bumps. It's not
Yeah.
really passable as a city road.
Right.
So are we doing anything to make sure that doesn't create traffic problems over there?
Yeah, Wolf Store Road is, as you mentioned, is privately maintained. It's owned by the Property Owners Association that has that, self-storage and all those properties in there. It's actually, when you look at it, there's a lot going on in that corridor, but there's not a lot of property owners. There's only like 5. So we've talked with that POA about that road, and they've asked us, the city, to take it over. However, it has so many non-compliant issues with regards to our standards that we've consistently been very simple in our direction that if they bring it up to a city standard, we would take it over. However, it's not to a city standard. So when Ralph's came in with the concept of the gas station, Nick took a look at how that would function, with obviously gasoline trucks, tanks coming in. And so Nick gave them direction on how to make that operationally work. But of course, sometimes the best laid plans, may not work once we see traffic, especially the school afternoon traffic. And so I think Nick said you would be reevaluating it post-construction, but we have been involved all the way through, and that is under our oversight as far as the grading and all of that that's going on. So, yeah, been involved the whole time.
All right, I have just a quick report out from the Active Transportation Advisory Panel. We met last month. Main topic of discussion was e-bike safety. Everyone had hoped that we'd be able to get that school permitting program launched in time for the start of school. That obviously didn't happen. It was delayed, but there has been a lot of progress in the meantime. In particular, I wanted to recognize some of the work that one of our school resource officers has been doing. Deputy Stamatalatos has been putting together the coursework, the safety class that students are going to be taking in order to earn their permit. So I just wanted to point that out. The reason for the delay just comes down to a gap in staffing at the district right now. The former security director left over the summer to pursue other opportunities, and the district's trying to fill that position. Until that happens, we're a little bit stuck in a holding pattern, trying to get this program into the schools where it can be most effectively administered. But I just wanted to provide that brief update for now so that everyone knows we haven't forgotten about e-bike safety, still making progress on that. And on that note, also wanted to amplify a public service announcement from Captain Durham. He announced at the city council meeting a couple nights ago that they're going to be stepping up enforcement at city parks. They've been trying to address that ongoing issue with damage to some of the park turf caused by e-bikes, or more prominently actually by illegally operated e-motorcycles. And the commission took a look at, of course, an ordinance related to that earlier this year, and that was enacted by council, so hopefully that will help them with the enforcement efforts there. I'll leave it at that for now. That's the end of my report. That also brings us to the end of our meeting. Our next regular meeting of the Temecula Traffic Safety Commission will be held not on Thursday, November 28th, but on December 12th. And that meeting date will be publicly noticed on the city website once that's finalized. Until then, we are adjourned.